The best gifts are homemade gifts, and in my opinion, the best homemade gifts are edible. So why not make food gifts for your friends and family this year? All you need are some regular vinegars, some glass bottles, preferably with corks, and some great flavors. So let's talk about the gear you're going to need. I'm going to use these large mason jars to actually make my vinegar, but then when you give it to somebody, you want to put it into a pretty jar. The thing that's really important is all these jars need to be very clean. So sanitize them by boiling them in boiling water for about 10 minutes, or you can use the sanitize cycle on your dishwasher. But you're going to do that right before you're going to use them. These jars, this actually is a step that happens in about 2 weeks, so we're going to put these aside. So the first thing you're going to need are some vinegars. Here I've got a selection of 3 different vinegars. White distilled vinegar is really great because it allows the flavors of whatever you add to really shine through. Plus, it's really inexpensive, so it's a great vinegar to use. I also have a white wine vinegar. That also lets flavors shine through. It's a little more elegant and a little bit different in color. Then, of course, why not try using red wine vinegar or balsamic vinegar? That's going to work better with stronger flavors that can match the flavor of the balsamic vinegar itself. I'm going to use white balsamic vinegar because I like to see the color that the flavors add to the vinegar. So you choose your vinegar first off, then you have to choose your flavors. So here we have a selection of flavors. Today we're going to make a hot chili vinegar. We're going to make a fig and pomegranate balsamic vinegar, and I'm going to make a lemon sage white wine vinegar. So lots of great flavors here, but again, we have to make sure these are really, really clean. So wash your peppers, wash the lemon before you peel it. With herbs, you're going to take one extra step, especially if you've grown these herbs yourself. We're going to wash them in a mixture of bleach and water. And I know that sounds weird, but it's only 1 teaspoon of bleach to 6 cups of water. Swirl the herbs around in there and then wash them well and dry them well. The reason we do this is because that's going to kill any critters or bacteria or spores that might be on your herbs and then taint your vinegar. So wash well, bleach solution, dry them well. Those are the flavors we're going to use today, but there are lots of varieties that you could use. You can use any kind of berry, or perhaps just spices like cinnamon and star anise, mustard seed. Anything that you can put into this jar, you could really use to flavor the vinegar. However, don't use ground spices because they'll cloud that vinegar and make it unattractive. So the first step is to bring your vinegar to about 190 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just below the boiling point. The reason we warm that vinegar is because it's going to then be better able to extract the flavors from the different ingredients you're going to add. So just below the boiling point. Meanwhile, let's put your flavors in the jars. I'm going to start making the lemon sage white wine vinegar. So for that, I've taken the peel of some lemon. You can use a peeler to take it off and then trim any of the white off. This goes straight into our mason jar. Now we're going to add that sage that has been cleaned, but you want to bruise the herbs first. So I'm just going to, what we call spank the herbs, like this, and really get that flavor out of those fresh leaves. These go straight into the jar as well. You're going to use about 3 to 5 sprigs of whatever herb you're using to a pint of vinegar. So we have that ready to go. Let's make our next flavor, which is going to be the fig pomegranate white balsamic vinegar. Here we're going to add some crushed pomegranate seeds. These are just pomegranate seeds you've taken out of the pomegranate and then crush them gently with the back of a spoon. We've also got some figs that we're going to pop in here as well. We've cut these open to expose that fig and give it the most flavor possible. And finally, we come to our pepper vinegar. Here, we're going to take some peppers, but we have to prepare them just a little bit first. So I've got a cutting board. I'm going to slice a hole or a line all the way down that pepper, just like this. That is going to allow the pepper to sink in the vinegar and also expose it so some of that flavor can come out. Remember, the heat of the pepper is actually in the seeds and the veins, so allowing that vinegar to get in there is going to bring you the most flavor. That's a long hot pepper. I've also got a cubanelle here that I'm going to make a slice in, just to let that go in as well. And then these are little green habaneros, extremely hot and spicy. So if you don't want your vinegar too spicy, go careful with this one. But again, I'm gonna do the same thing, slice it open just to expose any layers, maybe 2 lines in this. That'll let the vinegar get in there and get that spiciness. Now's the time to add the vinegars. They're warm. We're gonna use a funnel so that we don't make any mistakes. And I'm gonna pour the white wine vinegar over the lemon and sage. I'm gonna pour white balsamic vinegar over our figs and pomegranate. And I'm gonna pour just plain white distilled vinegar over that chili pepper. So now we're gonna cover these up with the lids. Now you'll see the peppers are floating right now. They'll sink in a few days because of the holes you made in them. Look at the beautiful color already coming out of the pomegranate and figs into that white balsamic. And this is our white wine vinegar with the lemon and sage, and it's super aromatic. I can smell it already. We're gonna cover these up and put them away in a cool, dark place for about 2 weeks. So during the course of 2 weeks, you're gonna come back to the bottles when you remember and just tip them over to stir up all those flavors and get more flavor out into the vinegar. But after 2 weeks, it's time to taste what you've made. So be careful, taste a tiny bit, because remember, this is vinegar. All we want to know is, has the flavor flavored the vinegar? That is beautiful. Let's check out the next one. This is the fig and pomegranate white balsamic. You're gonna make some very, very happy friends with these vinegars. And here, be very careful when you taste the chili pepper vinegar, because this could be really, really spicy. There's quite a little after kick on that one. So let's set a couple of these aside, and I'll show you the next thing that you need to do to make these gifts beautiful. We're gonna take our bottles. We've made pretty labels. If you're like me, you've had somebody else write the label for you, because I have atrocious handwriting. And we're gonna make these jars pretty. So we have our pomegranate fig, our hot chili pepper vinegar, and our lemon sage. So we're gonna add some new flavoring ingredients. These will continue to flavor the vinegars, but they'll look pretty and fresh instead of old and greenish. So use a chopstick or a paintbrush tip like I'm using here to just push these herbs back down into that bottle. I've got some fresh lemon peel that I used a channel knife to get off, and we're gonna put that into the bottle as well. And you can put as much of this as you want, but remember, it's going to continue to flavor the oil. And just push it down. So that's our lemon sage ready to go. Let's look at our pomegranate fig. We're gonna put a few fresh pomegranate seeds in here. Remember, they've been slightly crushed so that more flavor will come out. And you may have to slice those figs super small to get them inside here, but just enough to make it look pretty and to let people know what are the flavors in that vinegar. And then with that chili pepper again, we're gonna just put 2 pieces in here, 2 chili peppers. There's no need to really slice it open because we're not looking for too much more flavor, but just enough to get it to sink. Here's our little habanero. So now our jars are ready. Our vinegars taste great. We just have to strain them and put them into these jars. We'll start off with our lemon sage. So I'm gonna strain this through a strainer and some cheesecloth, just to make sure I get all of the ingredients out. Now I'm going to pour that through a funnel carefully into the bottle. Now you can already see how pretty this is going to be. Make sure now you have a cork or a rubber stopper for that vinegar, and we're going to keep it upright. If you do only have a metal cap, just make sure you always keep that bottle upright and the vinegar doesn't come in contact with that metal cap. But there is a pretty bottle of lemon sage vinegar. One done, 2 more to go. So there you have it, 3 beautiful homemade gifts that you can give to people, beautiful flavors of vinegar. Imagine all the ways you can use it. Perhaps over fish and chips, a little bit of chili vinegar, or in a salad, the pomegranate fig, or in marinades, the lemon sage vinegar. But whatever you do with them, I know you're gonna make people happy.